Welcome to the Eye Opener. I'm your host, Michael Lewis. 18 days have passed and Kamala Harris has yet to hold a press conference on the migrant surge. Biden's gun control measures put Democrats at great risk in the coming midterm elections. Hollywood has been in bed with the left for a long time. In the Georgia election reform saga, celebrities and filmmakers called Republicans racist. Following New York, California's Orange County plans to launch a vaccine passport pilot program sometime in April. Okay, my friends, let's take a closer look together. When the border crisis reached its worst level in decades, Biden appointed VP Kamala Harris to address the root causes of the migrant surge. Now, 18 days later, and Harris has yet to hold a press conference on the matter. So where is she? On March 24th, Biden said Harris was the most qualified person to lead the effort. Since then, a number of senators have visited the southern border, but not her. No actions or policy discussions were heard from the VP about tackling the border crisis. However, in the past 18 days, Harris made trips to Connecticut and her home state, California, and Illinois. She spent Easter weekend in Los Angeles and continued turning a blind eye to the southern border, just miles away from her Los Angeles home. On Easter Monday, April 5th, Harris stopped in Oakland on a tour of a water treatment facility together with California Governor Gavin Newsom. She was promoting Biden's $1 trillion infrastructure plan, which would spend $111 billion on the nation's water infrastructure. The next morning, Harris flew to Chicago. She was looking for a bakery shop called Brown Sugar Bakery.
But before she left, the VP made a sweet pit stop.
This is a tray of caramel.
Oh, there we go.
And then this is our tray of strawberry, lemon, and caramel.
Sweet indeed. The vice president making a surprise visit to Brown Sugar Bakery. This is on 75th Street alongside Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton and Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx.
One worker at the bakery said she could have gone to a million other places, but she came here and I'm grateful for that. Now, it's half true. Kamala Harris could have made a quick detour while she was in California, but she chose to travel to Chicago for her favorite cake, German chocolate. Now, Americans who care about the country's border situation didn't appreciate that. We forgot to mention Harris was visiting a vaccination site in the Windy City, but who even knew? There was so little coverage on her vaccine visit, it didn't even make mainstream news. During these trips, Harris didn't say a word about the border. Chair of the Republican National Committee, Ronna McDaniel, said Harris even failed to do the bare minimum, just showing up. McDaniel wrote, it would have been incredibly easy for Harris to add a stop on her trip to show her support and to console, comfort, and lead on the ground. She had her own plane. The flight time from LA to San Diego is about 30 minutes. The White House has been ambiguous in its answers as to when the public can expect a response from Harris about her trip to the southern border or hold a press conference on the matter. Jen Psaki said last week, I don't have an update on when she will travel, but I'm sure it'll be soon. With the border crisis not disappearing anytime soon, the Biden administration is trying to pass the buck, but some states aren't going for it. On Monday, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster issued an executive order prohibiting the federal government from bringing unaccompanied children from the U.S.-Mexico border to South Carolina. The South Carolina Department of Social Services, the DSS, in a letter dated April 8th, told McMaster the federal government was making inquiries about possibly transporting an unknown number of migrant children from the southern border to be placed in the state's child care system. McMaster said in a statement, South Carolina's children must always be given first priority for placement into foster care, and the state's strained resources must be directed to addressing the needs of its children. And he continued, allowing the federal government to place an unlimited number of unaccompanied migrant children into our state's child welfare system for an unspecified length of time is an unacceptable proposition. We've been down this road with the federal government before, and the state usually ends up on the hook. While in Washington, D.C., Republicans are fighting to block funding going to illegals. Last week, New York was reported offering one-time payments of up to $15,600 to illegal immigrants who lost their work during the pandemic. Now, Senator Ted Cruz introduced an amendment to the last round of the COVID relief bill to prevent illegals from receiving stimulus checks. Cruz's office says the amendment would save taxpayers nearly $8 billion, but the proposal failed in the Senate along a party line vote on April 10th. On Monday, April 12th, Senator Tom Cotton proposed his No Bailouts for Illegal Aliens Act, another amendment bill to the COVID relief package that would withhold federal funds from states sending cash to illegals. Cotton said some local governments are offering illegal immigrants thousands of dollars for jobs they lost during the pandemic, jobs that belong to Americans in the first place. Cotton's bill requires states to certify they are not offering funding to illegal immigrants in order to qualify for federal funds. Another GOP Senator, Steve Daines, announced on Monday that he will introduce a bill to prevent funds from going to states that directly or indirectly give cash payments to illegals. Daines also proposes allowing the federal government to recoup any cash that was already given to illegals. Daines denounced Biden for creating incentives for people to cross the border illegally with cash payments and called it outrageous. It is even more outrageous that Democrats want illegals to vote to dilute your votes. On April 12th, Tucker Carlson doubled down on his comments on Democrats' attempt of a demographic replacement of America.
Demographic change is the key to the Democratic Party's political ambitions. Let's say that again for emphasis because it is the secret to the entire immigration debate. Demographic change is the key to the Democratic Party's political ambitions. In order to win and maintain power, Democrats plan to change the population of the country. They're no longer trying to win you over with their program. They're obviously not trying to improve your life. They don't even really care about your vote anymore. Their goal is to make you irrelevant.
Now, before we continue, if you like our program, please subscribe to the show. You can also join me on our Eye Opener Telegram chat room. It's a great place to share your thoughts and connect with me and other like-minded people. The chat room link is down below. Okay, my friends, let's get back to the show. Democrat strategists are now very concerned that any radical legislation pushed by their party could backfire in the 2022 midterm elections and lead to Republican victories. Besides Biden's open borders, grandiose spending infrastructure bill, gun control is another hotly debated issue. Democrat strategists worry any votes to ban assault-style weapons and high-capacity magazines could put Democratic candidates at risk in Senate battleground states like North Carolina, Georgia, Ohio, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. A columnist for The Hill says a debate on gun control of any kind is especially dangerous to Democrats in North Carolina. It could mobilize rural Republican-leaning voters in a way that would have otherwise been difficult without former President Trump on the ticket. Trump won North Carolina in both 2016 and 2020. Republican Senator Thom Tillis won re-election last year. Rural-based Republicans outweighed Democratic voters in urban and suburban areas. Many residents in the state's rural counties are gun owners. Senate Democrats expect to debate and vote on legislation related to gun violence this year. But Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer hasn't been able to provide any specific proposals. Now, Dave Heller, a Democratic strategist who has worked for House candidates across the country, says its proposal to ban assault-style rifles and high-capacity magazines come to the House floor, no Democratic lawmaker aiming for a Senate seat in 2022 is likely to vote for them. On Sunday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott pushed back Biden's newly announced executive action on gun control. Abbott says Americans need their guns for self-defense now more than ever because of the open border policy which fuels drug cartels and smuggling businesses. The defund the police movement and bail policies that allow dangerous criminals to get released back onto the streets. Abbott urges the state legislature to make Texas a Second Amendment sanctuary state following Arizona. Abbott says he's ready to sign the proposal once it arrives at his desk. While red states are fighting for their Second Amendment rights, some blue states are quietly rolling out the unpopular and controversial vaccine passport. California's Orange County is planning to launch a pilot program of COVID-19 vaccine passports sometime this month. OC's healthcare agency announced last week the pilot digital passport program enables individuals to participate safely in activities that involve interactions with other people, including travel, attractions, conference meetings, concerts, sports, school, and more. So basically, all social activities. Although more details about the vaccine passport are lacking, the county's healthcare agency director, Dr. Clayton Chow, told the OC Register that the county could easily introduce a credential feature to the existing Athena vaccine scheduling app to show proof of vaccination. The Athena app is being used to schedule vaccine appointments at the Orange County's mass immunization sites, including at Disneyland. To date, New York is the only state that has rolled out a vaccine passport system, the Excelsior Pass, that requires people to show proof of vaccination when trying to enter certain events and locations. But the practice has been heavily criticized for privacy and civil liberty concerns. There are also concerns about Hollywood. Now, we have been talking a lot about Hollywood lately, and we plan to talk about it more, because still not that many people realize that the world's largest entertainment industry has been doing to them. At least on the surface, we've noticed Hollywood products have become morally corrupt over the years, sometimes to an astonishing level. However, outside theaters, Hollywood also plays a role in politics from time to time, pairing with the left. It would be a big surprise if it didn't play the Georgia election reform saga, of course, from the wrong side. Emancipation, a slave drama starring Will Smith, has been pulled out of Georgia, making it the first major Hollywood film to boycott the Peach State. Will Smith and director Antoine Fuqua said in joint statement Monday that while the nation is in the process of eliminating, quote, vestiges of institutional racism to achieve true racial justice, they are no longer in good conscience to provide economic support to the state government. They feel compelled to move film production work from Georgia to another state. Smith and Fuqua repeated the same lies that Georgia's new voting laws are regressive and restrict voter access. These two filmmakers certainly didn't bother to read the laws. If you want to be successful in Hollywood, you have to be politically correct by the left's standards. But we have to point out that financially, this is not an easy decision. Since 2008, Hollywood has been enjoying Georgia's huge financial incentives for movie and TV production. The Peach State provides a generous 20% tax credit for companies spending more than $500,000 on entertainment production, soaking up over $800 million in annual giveaways. But the elites, the bosses of Hollywood, have never wanted voter IDs, and now Georgia wants them. What are filmmakers and stars to do? Boycott the state. Before Will Smith, a number of Hollywood celebrities, including Edward Norton, Susan Sarandon, and Rosanna Arquette, denounced Georgia Republicans in March as racist and white supremacists. Sadly, none of these people were able to read Georgia's new voting law. On April 13th, Hollywood filmmaker Rob Reiner, who directed Stand By Me, When Harry Met Sally, and A Few Good Men, once again equated Republicans with white nationalism and, quote, secessionists. When the new voting law first came into effect, Reiner called to kill the filibuster to protect democracy. During last year's presidential campaign, Reiner emerged as one of Hollywood's biggest supporters of Joe Biden. He said that Biden would, quote, restore our souls and stand as leader of the free world. But what do you think of Biden today? Rob Reiner is just a typical example of the mass majority of Hollywood filmmakers. In Hollywood's heyday, it represented the true American values, but not anymore. Today, Hollywood proclaims the left's false racial justice and democracy narratives in America, but kowtows to please the Chinese Communist Party a second later. Walt Disney went all the way to shoot the live-action film Mulan in Xinjiang, where millions of Uyghurs were just next to them, locked in concentration camps and subjected to the CCP's systematic brainwashing, torture, and rape. In the end, Disney thanked the CCP authorities for allowing them to shoot the film. When will film lovers be able to see real American values on the silver screen again? If you have a particular view or feeling about the evolution of Hollywood, please share with us and leave a comment below. And that's it for today, my friends. Please like and share, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. You can join me on the Eye Opener Telegram chat room. You can also follow me on Lawmaker, Gab, Parler, and Telegram. And don't forget, please sign up to our email list so that we can stay in contact with each other. I'd like to thank you all, and I'll see you next time.